What's going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back with a brand new episode of Chaos Head Noah. Last time we're on, we did a couple more different changes here and there with our delusions, but the real cream of the crop was we finally got to the part where Takumi tried to find Nanami's phone, and he finds the box, he opens it up, and there's no hand there actually. It's just her phone in its entirety. There's just a bit of blood there. He then goes outside to find her, only to find her on the rooftop completely naked for some reason, and her having no memory of how she got there in the first place. Over the next couple of days, Takayumi decides to let her stay in order to protect her from Shogun and the other threats he perceives, but he keeps getting a phone call from another Nanami's saying to give back her right hand, even though she still has it here. So that begs the question, who is this other Nanami, and is she the actual one, or is the one with us right now the real one? Well, all the while, Takayumi is dealing with the comfort of another person in his base, really, and coming to terms that he does care a lot for his sister. But yeah, I'm actually very curious as to where this route will go. I still have the feeling that it's some sort of fatalism type thing, that this isn't supposed to happen. Nanami is supposed to be kidnapped by Genichi, trapped, and have her left hand removed from her body. And so, because of some shenanigans, maybe due to Takayumi's delusions becoming stronger just unconsciously, he somehow freed her before that could happen to her, and now it's kind of messed up the sequence of events in some way. And the phone calls from Nanami are the real Nanami trying to reach out to him, but he's still stuck in this delusion of being with his sister. I as hard as that sounds, I think that's the truth of this route. I think that's going to be the truth of all these routes until we eventually get to the true ending, which begs the question, what exactly does Takumi gain from these other routes in order to reach the real ending here? But all we gotta do is keep reading and find out, so let's get right into it, shall we? When I woke up, I was lying on the couch. That was weird. I thought I had been asleep in my bed with Nanami. Had I woken up just enough to make my way over here, but not enough to realize it? I looked up at the bed, only to see a bulge under the sheets. Nanami must have still been asleep. I checked the time on my phone. 2011. Huh? I felt an odd sense of discomfort. Something wasn't right. I had no idea what, though. It was like my brain had no idea what was going on anymore. What date is it today? If I remember correctly, I was pretty sure it wasn't November yet. I mean, how the hell could I have gone to sleep and then woken up at 8 p.m.? What, did that mean I slept for almost 20 straight hours? Yeah, not a chance. Didn't matter how much I let my guard down since I was with Nanami. There's no way I would have done that much shut-eye. I had to wonder if my phone was just broken and therefore the date and time were wrong. But when I checked, the date and time on my PC were the same as my phone, a little past 8 p.m. on November 4th.
嘘だろ嘘だよ
Muttering that to myself, I connected to the internet, opening both my browser and email as I scoured through this news. But no matter where I looked, the date always indicated November 4th. I read through countless news articles before one in particular caught my eye. Oh shit. October 27th, the day of the seismic intensity 5 earthquake, television station Tokyo received a major... Oh, that's right, this stuff. As the letter of questionable origin was signed by Yuri Brightman himself, it was believed to be highly credible, Yuri Brightman, and yet their judgment would soon be found to be incredibly poor. In the end, the boy never showed, leaving the onlookers gathered in Scramble Crossing very upset, and with nowhere to direct their anger, the event was viewed as a travesty by the public, leading to a large amount of protests occurring against Today TV and Fujisan TV. The PR department of Today TV tells Zako, with the recent earthquake and the new gen crimes cases, the eyes of the entire nation are all on Shibuya. As a public broadcasting organization, we admit that while the source may have been indeed questionable, we deemed it that it had merit in broadcasting. We stand by this decision. Yeah, that is true. That's how they got the TV crews over there, because of Yuri Brightman or whatever. The article was dated October 28th, 1 week ago. Could all this be connected to Shogun and the email he sent summoning me? Shogun had definitely sent me an email saying to come to the Ophron at 9 p.m. That couldn't be just random coincidence. And what's more, damn. DQ and puzzle. What the hell? Something was off here. For one, the 6th New Gen case should have been the Dominatrix, and 2, there'd been a 7th New Gen case? DQ and puzzle? New Gen? What? When had all of that happened? Oh, shit, that's right. That's right. The 6th case changed into something called Dominatrix instead of finger food. So, I think we are in a kind of divergent timeline here, or I guess another world in the case of Steins Gate. So something's not adding up. Maybe I'm probably right, aren't I? Staring at the new gen bulletin, I froze completely. Oh shit. It's like the sound of Saratan's voice to bring me back to myself. Apparently I had an ungodly number of new emails and my computer was finally ready to download them all. Oh shit. 53 new emails, and they were all from Shogun? You're a cunt. Damn. Every single title was openly, entirely confrontational. I never once seen Shogun swear like that before. Feelings of fear and confusion made a disgusting, nasty sweat bead across my entire body. Nervous as could be, I quicked open the most recent email. Not a single reply all week. I'm not the sort of moron you're making me out to be. If that's your plan, then I'll see to it that Nanami-chan gets tortured even more. If I overdo it a bit and she ends up dead, don't blame me for it. It'll be all your fault, not mine. You're the bad guy here. What was going on here? What was going on? God damn it! Calm down. Take a deep breath. Now stop for a second and think. This was all just a delusion. Yeah, it was all just a dream Takumi. I was going to wake up, and then the laugh track would ensue, and then I'd realize I was sleeping with Nanami in my bed, and then I'd be back in reality. Oh shit. The knocking sound resounded from my door. It was coming from outside. Who was it? I held my breath, eyes glued to the door. Silence, no sign of life at all. But the moment I thought I'd been just hearing things, the knocking sound came again. I hadn't been hearing things. Oh god, was it Shogun? After all this time, had he finally come here to kill me? And yet, when I heard the voice from beyond the door, it was beyond even my wildest expectations. Oh shit.
Nami.
Huh? How? My eyes snapped to the bed. Nanami should have been asleep there. There was a bulge right under the right sheets.
Oi, Nanami. Okiro.
I climbed part way up the ladder to the bed, and then told Nanami to wake up, and yet the sheets didn't move an inch. Something wasn't right.
Nanami!
I violently threw them off, and beneath them were just a bunch of cardboard boxes. Nanami wasn't there.
Eh?
Oh, fuck. My mind went blank. And not only was Nanami right there, but the bed wasn't even clean. It would have been impossible to sweep in. There were boxes upon boxes stuffed full of manga and eroge. That was how it looked before Nanami had cleaned it up yesterday, but now it was right back to normal, right back to being a spot I used for storage. Wait, hadn't Nanami cleaned up yesterday? Oh shit. I looked around the room. Not a damn thing about it was even close to clean. Why hadn't I noticed that sooner after waking up a few minutes ago? I was at a total loss. My memories were all jumbled up. I heard a voice from outside again. Nanami's voice. Who was that Nanami? Where was the Nanami I slept with? What happened to the naked, trembling Nanami? I didn't understand. I didn't understand a damn thing. I stumbled my way to the door, then clung onto it. The inside was locked with a padlock. The entire container had been a locked room. It would have been impossible for the Nanami to sneak out while I'd been asleep. I was on the brink of tears. This had to be an attack from Shogun. Still, I knew I had to open the door, because outside was Nanami's voice. It was incredibly, incredibly weak, and it was calling for me. And so, I undid the lock, and then I slowly opened the door. Fuck. Oh, shit. Nanami was there, wearing her missing uniform, her entire body covered in blood, her right hand severed, wielding a blade I'd never seen before, this sword. Her hollow eyes turned toward me, stunned as could be. I couldn't say a word.
どうしてあの時来てくれなかったの
Fuck.
1週間も待ってたのに鬼助けてってずっと呼んでたのに
This was a delusion. This was a delusion. This was a delusion!
右手が痛いの返して7の右手
Oh, fuck.
右手を返して朝起きてから右手がちょっとズキズキするの
Which was real? Which was a delusion? What was I looking at? Who had I been talking to until now? Where had that Nanami gone? Where had this Nanami come from?
鬼
Suddenly, I heard Nanami's voice come from behind me. In front of me was Nanami covered in blood. Behind me was Nanami calling out to me. Oh my god. Fear gripping me, I nervously turned around, and behind me was Nanami, wearing the clothes I'd lent her, her right hand still perfectly attached. There were two Nanamis. Oh shit.
そいつ誰
Oh my god! The two Nanamis spoke in unison. When Nanami saw Nanami, her expression grew puzzled. When Nanami also saw Nanami, her expression grew tearful. Caught between two Nanamis, I
これは妄想だ
sank to the floor, clutching my head. If this was a delusion, I wanted to wake up already. I didn't want to see a delusion this horrifying, and yet no matter how much I wanted to wake up, I couldn't get back to reality.
その偽物何なの
Oh shit. Oh my god. I was right. It isn't... Takayumi unconsciously created another Nanami. He did it unconsciously. Oh my god. But why would Genichi, release Nanami, though? How the fuck did she get out? Because, she was... No matter what Takayumi did, Genichi would have never released Nanami until at the very end, when he got Remy. The bloodstained Nanami shifted and swayed. She held onto her disc sword, a sword both pitiful and sinister, of a height comparable to even her own.
なんで偽物が鬼と一緒にいるのそいつのせいで ナナを助けに来てくれなかったの？ナナは偽物じゃないよ。
Oh, shit.
そっちこそそんな変な剣持って偽物じゃん。
Both vices belong to Nanami. Both faces belong to Nanami. Both called me Big Bro. Which Nanami was real? Which Nanami was fake? Were they both real? Were they both fake?
偽物のくせにお兄から離れてよ。
Oh shit. The blood-stained Nanami brandished her disc sword with one hand and swung it with incredible ease. The end of it was aimed straight toward the non-blood-stained Nanami's neck. Fuck. Making no attempt to avoid it, Nanami froze in pain, poise. It hit her head-on. The brutal, unforgiving edge of the disc sword dug into her neck, and then it swept right through. Is it not real, booted? The non-blood-stained Nanami should have been decapitated, and yet there wasn't even a drop of blood. She wasn't even injured. She simply stood there just as she had been the whole time. There wasn't any doubt that Nanami had swung the disc sword, and with that amount of force behind it, Nanami's head should have been blown clean off.
やっぱり偽物。
I was afraid of that, but yeah.
ナナはなんで？
Stop.
偽物だからだよ。偽物じゃない。
Shut up already.
お兄、離れて。そいつから離れて。
Shit.
違うよ、お兄。ナナはここにいるよ。
Oh my god.
黙れよ。
I couldn't help but scream. It was all just so goddamn confusing.
どっちかが妄想だ。僕の妹はナナミは二人は存在しないんだ。
I alternated between the two Nanamis, comparing them. Both looked like Nanami to me, so I turned to the one wearing my sweatshirt. I wished from the bottom of my heart that this Nanami was real. That the Nanami I held tightly in my bed was real. And so, I followed my desire. I reached out my hand toward her face, all so I could gently brush her cheek. But, just like the disc right before me, my hand swept right through her. Even though Nanami was right there, I couldn't touch her. I felt nothing there. As if she were a holographic projection. I was overwhelmed by uncontrollable sadness. Tears flooded from my eyes in large drops.
嘘だよ。ナナは偽物じゃないよ。ねえ、お兄、そうだよね。そうだって言ってよ。
Oh, God. Nanami tried to cling on to me, and I tried to hold her in return. And yet, just as I feared, the Nanami before me had no substance. My hand swept right through her body.
違うもん。ナナはここにいるもん。
Nanami's right hand firmly grasped my left. I could feel it. I could feel her frail strength grasping my hand. I could feel neither her body nor her head nor her neck. Only her right hand was touching me. Oh, god damn it. That's why the hand wasn't... Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's what happened. When Takumi opened up the package, he snapped. He snapped instantly. And for an entire week, he kept the hand of Nanami with him. And fought up this other Nanami. He swept with it. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. The Nanami without a right hand shouted out. The very next second, all power drained from her body, and while still holding onto her disc sword, she fell to the ground with a thud. Sweat was pouring from the Nanami's forehead. The color was draining from her face. Oh my god. Considering her right hand had been cut off and she was bleeding profusely, it was only a matter of time until she passed out. An awful thought passed through my mind. I knew it couldn't be true, but I couldn't stop myself from thinking about it. In my mind, it was the only answer to all of this. An answer that was no less than a nightmare. What the fuck? Oh, son of a... Well, that explains how she got out. I heard a voice. A voice that wasn't Nanami's.
タクが今考えた通りなの。
Behind the fallen Nanami, standing outside the door, was...
Rimi.
Wielding a wing-like disc sword, Sekihata Rimi was standing right there. Our eyes met. She looked at me with deeply sad eyes.
あなたが今右手を握っているそのナナちゃんはあなたがリアルブートしようとしている存在。
Oh, real boot?
現実に耐えられなくなったあなたが産んだの。理想度を持ってるナナちゃんが本物なんだよ。嘘言わないでよ。ナナの方が本物だもん。たく、あなたはナナちゃんの切断された手首を見てショック状態になったの。
Yeah, I called it.
そして妄想した。そんな手首は見てないって。ナナちゃんは5体満足で無事だって。
I hadn't seen the hand. Shogun had only sent a bloodstained cell phone. Or had the hand been there? Maybe I've been trying not to see it. Maybe I've been refusing to. So she was saying that Nanami being naked was something I made up? And that the real Nanami, the one who was standing in front of me covered in blood and missing her right hand, had been kidnapped by Shogun?
嘘だ。
本当なの。ねえタク、今すぐ妄想するのをやめて。あなたがしようとしていることは人間を一人丸々作り出すっていう恐ろしい行為なんだよ。
Damn.
あなたは今核兵器のエネルギーをも上回る力を使ってる。そのせいでこの1週間あなたはほとんど昏睡状態だった。自覚してないかもしれないけど。
Wow.
タク、このままじゃ本当にこの世界に2人のナナちゃんがいることになるの。それにあなたがその妄想に力を使えば使うほど命の灯火が失われていく人がいるんだよ。だから
嘘だ。
ごめんね。あなたを守れなかった私の責任だよね。
I'm still thinking, like, this is still from the perspective of a Takumi that doesn't really exist. You know? That wasn't born. Ironically enough, he can create life as well, which makes sense. I mean, it tracks, but it adds that extra wear of it's like the thing of not Takumi was never a real person in the first place, and there's something so tragic about that. He was never born. He was just simply a character with the memories of the real Takumi. He spent his days in a box, invisible to the world, I guess. Because that's where characters can only exist in, is a box. In their own area, their own section of reality. And now here he is trying to create more life in order to face from reality. A reality in which he was created in. Like, there's so many goddamn layers to this. This story is just the biggest fucking tragedy, man. Oh my god.
だけどお願い。辛いかもしれないけど、現実を見て。
You know what? No. Takumi isn't even... What he is a weapon. Isn't that what Takumi really is? That's why Shogun created him, because Shogun can do it himself. He created Takumi to be a weapon. And once he fulfills that purpose, it's over for him. He cannot exist outside of this game. Once the game is over, Takumi dies. There is no existence after for him. Oh my god.
今すぐ妄想を止めて。
God, man.
お兄、消さないで。これ以上妄想を続けるなら、私があなたを殺す。
I shook off Nanami's right hand. It was all too much. I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't have the slightest clue what to believe. Believing Rimi's explanation, I just couldn't. Believing Nanami was standing there in tears, I just couldn't. Believing Nanami was lying there grasping the disc sword, I just couldn't. Believing in myself and what I felt, I just couldn't. What I wished for was something simple. A quiet, peaceful life with nothing to disturb it. A wonderful, blissful future for Nanami, for my sister. That was all I wished for. That was all I hoped for. Was I not allowed that wish? Was I not allowed that hope? Then everyone should just disappear. The whole world should just be erased. In my own head, distracted by no one, inside my delusion, I could live in a world neither real or fake. A world with just the two of us, just me and one Nanami.
僕は
I peered into Nanami's eyes. They were glistening with tears. Nanami was looking at me.
ナナミがいてくれればそれでいいんだ。
I whispered that aloud in the very next second. Oh shit. The world jolted.
サードメルト。
Oh shit. Oh fuck. My wish had come true. The world was enveloped in light. All and everything was consumed by it. And as literally as could be, it was all erased. Fuck. When I opened my eyes, I saw the familiar ceiling of my container house. that was lying on my back, right on top of my bed. Huh? Had I fallen asleep? It felt like I'd just been dreaming about something truly horrifying. Like I'd been just dreaming about something truly nauseating. But it had just been a dream. Couldn't have been anything else. Whether that was reality or just a dream didn't matter to me. Whether this was reality or just a delusion didn't matter either. I felt a gentle weight on my chest. Moving my eyes toward it, I saw her. It was Nanami sprawled out on my chest. Our eyes met. Nanami was watching me closely. Her eyes were wet. Her cheeks dyed the color of cherry blossoms.
昨日の夜はありがとう。
At first, I didn't understand what she meant.
ナナの気持ち受け入れてくれて嬉しかった。お兄に愛してもらえて嬉しかった。お兄のこと今までよりずっと好きになっちゃった。
Right. So this must have been one of those so-called character routes you saw in Rogue. And surprisingly enough, I took the situation in stride. Nanami seemed cuter than ever right now. I couldn't help but think about how lovable she was. I saw her both as my sister, and as a girl. Oh boy. God. I'm just... God. It's like... Takumi is a weapon. I've now come to that conclusion. He is a weapon designed to kill Genichi. Noah too. Quite literally, Takumi is the protagonist designed to kill the villain, Genichi. That is what he was designed to do. That's why Shogun created him. And at the end, the protagonist must die in order for the story to end. So it's like... I can't... Well, I mean, in this route, he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that. But at the same time, as me, as the viewer, I know that, so it's like... He fell into delusion, really. This is a bittersweet ending. Or, hell, probably a bad ending, I should say, actually. The world ends, and Takumi stays in this delusion forever. A delusion of his own creation. And I guess in that sense, that would be freedom for him. Freedom for Takumi is to go into the delusion. Because if he does face reality, he does become a weapon that Remy doesn't want him to be. Remy wants him to be a normal high schooler. She wants to take the blunt. She wants to take the damage. But yet, no matter what, it leads to that end, where Remy has to kill Takumi. So it's bad for the world, but at the same time, I like that Takumi has gained some semblance of control in the worst way possible, if you get what I'm meaning. You know? It's complicated. I love how complicated it is. There is no clear answer. There isn't black and white here. It's all muddled. And you know, that's how I like my stories. That's how I like them. It's Just humans being humans.
これからもたくさんナナのこと愛してね。
だが断るって言ったら
Old habits die hard, I guess. Nanami's face soured as she sat up.
もう真面目な話してるのに、お兄のバカ。
She got out of bed. Crap, how could I possibly make it up to her? That was when I noticed what was in my hand. Bringing it closer to my face, I realized what it was. A bangle. God damn it. It wasn't the one I given her before, however. This one was way fancier, way cuter. It would have looked really good on her. Thinking that to myself, I got out of bed too.
ナナミこれプレゼント
I swept it on Nanami's red wrist as she stared blankly at me. It was a little like putting a wedding ring on her finger. That made me feel pretty damn awkward.
わあ、かわいいバングルだ。ナナにくれるの？
When I nodded, Nanami smiled from the bottom of her heart. She looked happier than I ever seen her before.
大事にするね。
ナナミ僕たちはずっと一緒だよね。
え？いきなりどうしたの？
ずっと一緒にいたいんだ。ナナミとずっと一緒に。
やだな。そんな大胆なこと言い出すなんてお兄らしくないよ。熱でもあるの？あ、あったあった。からかってるんでしょ。
本気だよ。
お兄。それって兄弟として？それとも一人の女の子として？
Here we go.
両方。
両方。両方か。お兄の気持ち初めて聞けたかも。ナナのことそんな風に思ってたんだ。
キモいかな。
キモくないよ。むしろすごく嬉しい。まあお兄がそこまで言ってくれたんだし、しょうがないからナナも一緒にいてあげるよ。ただし一つだけね、条件があるの。
条件？
あのね。
Nanami squirmed ever so slightly. Her face turned bright red. Oh boy. She then stared directly into my eyes.
キスしてほしいな。
Whoa. Those were her words. I'd do anything Nanami asked. My mind was already made up. She and I would live together. Just the two of us. I didn't need anything else. As long as I had Nanami, nothing else mattered.
ダメ？兄弟でキスなんて不潔かな。
I shook my head.
そんなことないよ。
お兄。
With those words, Nanami leapt into my arms and kissed me. I was kissing my little sister. My sister's sweet sighs passed through my lips. I was overwhelmed with happiness, along with feelings of intense fulfillment. I was swimming with love for Nanami. But for some reason, for only just a moment, I felt incredibly sad. Yeah. Warm drops found their way down my cheeks. And as those tears flowed, I vowed deep within my heart, this world where Nanami was, I wouldn't let anyone harm it. I'd make absolutely sure that it would stay safe. No matter what happened, I'd always protect it. Wow. Well, son of a bitch, huh? So I guess that's the average rank for these routes, huh? It's only like 2 episodes. So damn, we can actually get through these a lot, but... Is this a new song? Wait. No wait, is there a unique ending song for each of these routes? That'd be cool if there was, actually. But... God damn it. It's like... This is a bad ending. This is. Like, fundamentally, it is a bad ending. But at the same time, there's this part of me that... I don't know, Takumi got some agency. I don't know, it's like... It's a bad ending in every sense, but... It's sad. It is... The more and more I play this game, the more sadder I get for Takumi. Like I do. He's just a guy that wants love so badly, but he hates himself so goddamn much. He has so much self-loathing for himself that he doesn't want to subject anyone to his being a freak in his own mind. And it's like, fuck, man. It's... God damn. God damn. Fuck, man. It's so goddamn heartbreaking. It surely is. And like, we've seen what happens to him in 2 separate endings when he goes down the actual route. It's either he... Daydream ending. Yeah, that makes sense. Nanami's ending. Like, we've already seen 2 endings where, like, well, we know one for sure, that he dies. But he gets tortured for what? He goes through all that pain. He goes through his character arc. And what does he get in the end? He gets a single kiss from Remy. A first and final kiss. And it's like, he goes through all of that. He faces reality. He gains his disc sword. He becomes a hero. He finally takes the call to action. In his reward, he saves the world, but he dies. And it's like, that doesn't seem fair to him. You know, it doesn't seem fair. It's like, fuck, man. I can't believe how much I've grown to really accept Takumi. He has deplorable points, he does, but I've accepted him by this point. And it's such a heartbreaking thing, you know? Like, I want him to succeed. I want him to get his happy ending. Not like this, though. Something better than this, but not to die either. So it's like, fuck, man. I love it. I love it. I can't believe this game has made me so goddamn, like, attached to this main character that seems so goddamn deplorable at the very beginning of this game. He seems so deplorable. He seems like the worst aspects of any otaku. But yet, once you get to know him, once you really understand him, it's like, fuck, man. Fuck. Okay. Well, reached yet another ending. So let us go ahead and check out the tips list, since that should be upgraded with Nanami's sword, actually. Here we go. It's actually the second one, huh? Anconium, the memory of her bangle, the symbol of her love for her brother, taking shape as a blade. That is Nanami's this sword. Damn. Influenced by her strong desire to not let anyone else have it, even the hilt itself is made of blades. This makes it impossible for even other Gigglomaniacs to hold or wield this sword. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Alright. 3 out of 9, fellas. 3 out of fucking 9. Okay, let's go for the next route, which is Yua's. So it's actually in chapter 1 and branches off in chapter 7. Alright, let's do this. I'm curious about Yua. I want to know more about Yua. I think because Nanami's route was more Takumi accepting her, you know, like seeing her for who she was as a sister and really deeply caring about her. But like we already knew that from the main story. Well, with Yua, it's actually it could be very different considering their whole thing, right?
コーラしかないじゃん。ミルクティーとか用意しといてよ。
Alright, go negative or whatever. Oh, I never did this one. Okay. Damn it. Who the hell does she think she was, acting like such a goddamn princess? Sure, go ahead. Drink so much cola that you destroy your stomach and get sent to the emergency room. Then I can finally relax and spend some time alone. If only that would actually happen. Oh boy. Suddenly, Nanami let out a groan, and as soon as she did, she dropped the bottle of soda, splashing cola everywhere. It spilled all of the manga, magazines, and CDs I left down there. Don't mess up my room, I was about to say, but then I realized what was happening. Nanami's eyes had shot wide open and her hands were pressed against her neck. She looked like she was in immense pain. Her mouth repeatedly flapped open and closed like a cart.
Nanami.
She was vomiting blood. Damn. Red blood, actually. It was closer to dark brown, splashed onto the floor, mixing with the spilled cola. Jesus Christ! And then she lost her strength and gloves. God damn. Damn, how many CGs are in this game? Her entire body convulsed as she writhed in agony. She clawed at her neck with her fingernails. Her legs spasmed as she thrashed around on the floor. She didn't seem to care at all that this was causing her skirt to flip up, exposing her panties. This might seem a little in poor taste, but when I saw the way she was acting, I thought that she looked just like a fish on a chopping board. Weather of the year here, fellas. I didn't know what to do, so I just covered my ears. But that didn't help. I could still hear my sister's dying screams. Jesus. Before long, her face was completely covered in drool, blood, and tears, and her body finally stopped trembling.
Nanami.
I reluctantly tried calling out to her, but there was no response. She was just lying there in a pretty compromising position. The smell of ammonia hit my nose. Had she pissed herself, or had I? Gently, ever so gently, I poked her shoulder. She didn't move a muscle. Although I was a little scared, I gathered the courage to bring my ear to her near her lips. She wasn't breathing. She was dead. Nanami was dead. It was like she'd been poisoned, the kind of thing you'd see all the time on TV. And that was when it hit me. I must have poisoned my own cola to kill Nanami. Oh, shut up.
なぜ殺した？うえ。
Obviously, it's been just another one of my delusions, but it still made me sick to my stomach. The whole thing had definitely been a bit much. Sure, Nanami could be really annoying, but that delusion had been way too graphic. Should have just left her at 1 HP, not fucking one-shotted her. God, the absolute, like, flip from the Daydream ending to here.
どうしたの？
Nothing. After finishing her core, Nanami shot me a confused look.
なんか顔色悪いけど。
I just shook my head a little.
ごめん。
何が？
とにかくごめん。
Even if it was just a delusion, I treated you horribly. I'm sorry. Aw. But it's only because I can't stand your bratty attitude. It's so much that I took it out on you inside my head. Would it kill you to understand that?
別に謝らなくてもいいのに。ミルクティーがないくらいでナナ怒んないよ。それになんだかんだ言ってコーラも好きだし。
Wait, did she just drink all my cola? I take it back, my apology. Nanami doesn't deserve it at all. I hope she gets her stomach torn open and bleeds out. Flip like a fucking dime, why don't you, Takumi? You fucking bastard. Okay, alright, no, I'm just stupid. Okay, interesting. Because the reason why I just completely, like, dismissed this one was just, it didn't involve Yua. I really, like, it just did not involve, but yeah, after going through it and closing the game, okay, I see, I'm just a fucking dumbass, that's it, but okay. So there is a reason why this is here. I really thought this whole, like, thing was, like, the route to get to the true ending, or something to that effect, because it didn't really involve any of the girls or whatever, but, wrong. Okay, so we go with no. It's not a coincidence. I'm making it up. It's all in my head. Nope. 2 no's. The new gen killer is somewhere in this school. Yes. Okay, last 3 are yeses. Whoever wrote this is trying to provoke me. Yes. And I should definitely erase it. Yes. Okay, and that's supposed to unlock the Yua route. Here we go. You recognize it, right? Discovered Yua's story. There we go. Basumi-kun walked up to me, grabbed my shoulder, and gave me a good shake.
聞いてる？おい、青く。
Ooh. It must have been just a common phrase or something. In other words, it was just a stupid pointless scribble. I tried to tell myself that, but I still couldn't calm down, so in the end I just went up and erased it, moving quickly so that nobody would notice. Okay. Now let us find out how this leads to you. Well, find out. Actually, for this one specifically, there's actually multiple intermissions with Yua, so that'll actually spice up the route here at least. Here we go. Shibuya Station was a much different place in the early morning than was later in the day. Young people were scarce, and countless businessmen, following the jarring ride on the crowded trains, rushed out of the station and scattered every which way into Shibuya. It was a place marked by indolence, yet engulfed by an air of restlessness. The students of Sumue Academy carried that with them as well. However, the number of them present was rather sparse. Shibuya Station was about 20 minutes away from Sumue by foot, and on top of that, part of the route was an uphill trek via Dokuzaka. Most Sumure students taking the train would depart at the stop nearest the academy, Shinshin Station. Kunosuke Yua, meanwhile, took on the unnecessary task of walking to Shibuya Station. Waking up early for this did not cause any headaches for her. The heart of Shibuya was often suffocatingly crowded, but as soon as one began to climb up Dokuzaka, the number of pedestrians dropped sharply. Taking the extra time to walk and breathe in the refreshing morning air was something Yua quite enjoyed. Part of the reason why she chose to walk from Shibuya Station was to see the news displayed of the jumbotrons above Scramble Crossing. As she waited for the pedestrian signal to change, Yua peered up at Old Front's jumbotron, just as she always did. And upon doing so, she gasped in shock. The captions running across the screen before her had taken her breath away. The headline read, "Third New Gen Incident. A certain boy's face rocketed to the forefront of her mind. A boy whom she did not know nor had ever spoken with. But it was a face she had seen the previous morning at school. Though for Ryua, that was evidence enough to convince her that he was the true culprit behind Nugent. Damn. Yua could recall the events of the previous morning vividly. Ooh. 7 a.m., Sumire Private Academy. Yua marched quickly through the empty halls. It seemed that no others had arrived yet. Her expression rigid, she gazed straight ahead without faltering, without a hint of restraint in her stride. Yua advanced onward, stopping only once she arrived at a certain classroom. The sign which framed the room number read 2C. Following a quick gaze to confirm her destination, Yua slid the door open without hesitation. 2C was not her homeroom. As a third year, she should have had no reason to even set foot in there. Absolutely no reason at all. That was how it would be under normal circumstances, at least. But right then, she had a specific goal in mind. After methodically scanning the empty classroom, Yua approached the blackboard. She pursued the section of chalk colors for a brief moment before picking up a pristine white piece. Then, using intentionally poor handwriting, she wrote a single sentence on the blackboard. She was the one that fucking did it? Then, how the hell did she know that phrase? She whispered the words to herself after writing them. Gently placing the chalk back down, she surveyed the room once more. Oh, wait! That's right! No, this does make sense. Because she... How did she discover the chat logs? No, because she was in the room... No. Okay, yeah, no. I'm remembering now. From Yua's perspective, she was in the room right next to Shogun's, in the internet cafe. Then, after Shogun had left, she went up and, found the computer logs and whatever like that. And of course, Shogun typed in, whose eyes are those eyes? And so I guess in order to provoke him, Yua wrote that on the fucking chalkboard. That does make sense. Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, alright. Her whispers continued, for nobody to hear but herself. Oh boy. In the silence of the empty classroom, her intimidating voice echoed. Oh, damn. God damn. It's like Yua is a protagonist of her own damn story. You know, a teenage detective trying to find her sister's killer, you know? AKA from the suicide. Sick. I love it. Ooh, shit. Yua forcefully bit her lip. After she had finished her task, Yua made her way up to the roof to kill time until the students of 2C finally arrived. Then, 10 minutes before the bell rang, Yua returned to the hallway. Peering in through the door, she kept an eye out for anyone who might have react to her description of whose eyes are those eyes. And just as she predicted, a certain panicked schoolboy was the one to erase the words. One look at his face and she could tell exactly who it was. Nishijou Takayumi. Oh god, I don't think this is going to end in a happy ending here either. She muttered those words to herself, only for them to be drowned out by a speaker mimicking the sound of pigeons cooing. The pedestrian signal at the scramble had changed colors. The massive wave of pedestrians collectively ceased their standstill and began moving once more. However, Yua remained where she was, paying no heed to the possibility that she may be in the grave that was trying to cross. She simply stood in place, focusing all of her attention on the subtitles that appeared up on the Jumbotron. Well, shit. Well, shit indeed, huh? Anyway, time for Nanami to die. What's happening? Let's make it good this time. Even though we've seen the good already. Wait, did I never do good for this one? Fucking alright. The pedestrian. You know what? This is fun. This is really fun. Of like every new playthrough, there's something. There's always like, because there's 3 choices, you actually do get a bit of variety, and like, you know, you can change things up here and there, and able to see new scenes with a skip button. Fairly nice. I actually like how they're doing this. The pedestrian signal turned green. Girl A and the rest of the crowd started walking forward. She was coming my way. I couldn't move. I was absolutely petrified. She didn't look away from me, not even for a second. She just kept drawing closer and closer. Until she stopped right in front of me. My instincts were telling me to run. Yet for some reason I couldn't move an inch. Felt like my consciousness had left my body. The girl reached out her hand into her jacket, aiming for one of her inner pockets. Her motion seemed deliberate, as if she wanted me to see what she was doing. Was she going for a knife? A pistol? A stun gun? Maybe I just watched too many TV, but I had a bad feeling that I just couldn't shake.
これ
Girl A began to whisper something. The gaze deep beneath her glasses was unflinching. She'd been staring straight into my eyes for what felt like an eternity.
落としましたよ
Huh?
She held out something to me. A student ID.
さっきのネットカフェで拾いました 追いつくことができてよかった
I took the ID without much thought. The second I opened it, I saw my own name and photo. The ID was mine.
西条匠くんって言うんですね
Her expression, which had been stone cold until just a second ago, was now beginning to relax a little.
すいません勝手に中身を見ちゃって私も同じ学校なんですよろしく
Well, that was anticlimactic. Guess my paranoia had been screwing with me after all, huh?
ところで西条くんは付き合ってる人いますか
いません。
本当ですかじゃあよかったら私と
If only that was... if only this was as easy as real life, huh? That flag! Time for my new life as a normie to finally begin! Move out of the way, asshole! I suddenly snapped out of it. The pedestrian signal, which I thought had turned green, was still red, and Girl A, who should have been right in front of me, was now back on the other side of the street. Had that all been just a delusion? This time, the pedestrian signal actually turned green. All the pedestrians started crossing at once. I couldn't move, and Girl A didn't move either. She just stood there, staring me down from a distance. We were the only ones standing still, as if time had frozen for just the two of us. Why was the girl in glasses not crossing the street? Why was she just standing there? It was strange. Really, really strange. I needed to stay away from her. Your instincts are kind of right. God, all of this being an act is kind of like I get where Yua's coming from. I really do. I get, you know, trying to get more information on the culprit you think is behind your sister's murder. Yeah, you would want to not think, you know, he's your enemy or whatever. But it's just like, obviously we're from Takayumi's perspective, so it's like, oh my god, I have a girl in my fucking house. It isn't all this shit. And, like, she actually cares about my stuff. Like, you know, amazing. When in reality, it's fucking you are just like, try to find anything, like, dirt on him. Like, try to find some evidence, pretty much, to build a case against him. So it's like, god damn it. Fuck. Why is this game making me feel so goddamn bad for Takumi? Holy shit. The more and more I think about it, it's like, god damn, man.
私、あなたのことが好きなんです。
Oh, I never did this one either. Okay.
ずっと西条くんのこと見てました。もう見てるだけじゃ嫌なんです。
Yua's face turned bright red. Right after her sudden confession, she abruptly started dressing. I was so bewildered, I could hardly bring myself to even peek at her. But when I did, I noticed she wasn't just taking off her top, but also her skirt. Her underwear flickered in and out of sight from beneath the hem of her blouse. It was black. Is she wearing a swimsuit? Being so bold, despite being clearly embarrassed, sure, it was a huge turn-on for me, but things were happening so suddenly, my mind could hardly keep up. It took all my strength just to swallow the saliva that built up in my mouth. Next, Yua started fiddling with the buttons on her blouse. She was undoing them, one by one from top to bottom. Then, almost as if trying to tease me, she slowly, ever so softly, dropped her blouse to the floor. For some reason, underneath it, she was wearing a competition swimsuit. God damn, that is the tightest fucking swimsuit I've ever seen. I shouldn't be making those comments. It was a high-leg swimsuit, and it was skin tight. The way it pressed in on her body, a little bit of her thighs spilled out from over the edges. So those dark-colored panties that caught glimpses of her, they were actually a swimsuit. It's so tight you could see her belly. God damn, man. Man, how did a girl this timid have boobs this huge? And another thing, she didn't take her knee-high socks off. GJ, Yua, that's the right choice. But don't make me feel things.
好きにしてください。
Don't make me feel things like this game.
めちゃくちゃにしていいですから。
な
I was speechless. It was pretty strange for a 3D girl to say all this stuff to a guy she just met. No sane girl would do that. Sure, it was sexy, but it wasn't even remotely moe. My sense of reason threatened to completely shatter right then and there, and I struggled desperately to keep it contained.
だが断る
Oh. While I was lost in my usual delusions, Yua suddenly had a huge fall and landed flat on her rear. She wiped her butt while on the verge of tears. Oh. God damn, that's so cute. Anyway, god damn it. Fuck. This game does things to me. These visual novels do things to me, man. Fuck. Is this why you guys watch me, huh? Oh shit. Kuzunuki Yua was born with a twin sister. Yes. However, she had died 1 month ago. It had been ruled a suicide. Oh yeah, that's right. So it's still fresh in her mind, actually, because of it's only been a month. I really did not think of it that right way. Yeah, I guess I don't know. The kind of the timeline of everything happening really especially with the before New Gen murders, before the crucifixion. The two were like a pair of coupled necklaces, incomplete without one another. Their bond simply was not comparable to that of ordinary sisters. The shock of her death left Yua feeling as if she were only half the person she once was. That was how much she adored her twin sister. When she heard the news, an endless waterfall of tears sprang from her eyes. She collapsed onto her sister's bed, desperately searching for the girl who had been living there until only yesterday. Damn. Why did she have to die? Yua searched for any answer at all, but found none. It wasn't really suicide. She would never kill herself. Somebody must have murdered her. These thoughts only fueled the flame of her grief. Maybe, Yua thought, maybe she left behind a message that nobody's found yet. Tormented by feelings of guilt, she began rummaging for her sister's possessions. When she did, she found a single diary, and within it were the words, gets deeper. Oh, shit. Whose eyes are those eyes? Oh, fuck. This was a queer cry for help from her sister. Even so, Yua had no idea what that phrase meant. With nothing to lose, she decided to search for it online. Among the results, she's discovered a single essay. Fuck. Oh. Oh. Honorable mention armpits? Question mark? What the fuck is that? But okay. Interesting. We are here to honor the talent of the outstanding young people that are our future. Received over 2,700 free applicants from all over Japan this year. The National Elementary School Writing Contest sponsors the Ministry of Education. This is okay. Okay. So we get an answer as to how exactly Nozomi. Yeah, Nozomi. Nozomi found out about the IR2 equation. So okay. Yeah, Nishijou Takayumi in his title, Whose Eyes Are Those Eyes? That's how they found it. Well, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. I really thought, because how I imagine it was because Takayumi was in the hospital for a long time. Well, he's still in the hospital technically, but So maybe during one of those things while he was in the hospital, he wrote that essay. But it seemed, okay, all right. Well, son of a bitch. Okay. Cool. I love it when extra routes reveal more information about how exactly this all comes together. I love that. One that had been entered into the National Elementary School Writing Contest. It was a competition that had been held 6 years ago by the Ministry of Education, and the title of one of the winning essays was Whose Eyes Are Those Eyes? Second prize, damn. The author's name was written beside the essay title. While the kanji could be read in multiple ways, the correct reading was clarified. Nishijou Takayumi, a 5th grade elementary schooler at the time. However, that was where the trail went cold. She had no idea what connection Nishijou Takayumi had with her sister's death. I'm curious about the armpits essay. What the fuck would that be about? Anyway, then came an incredible coincidence. It was rather common for Yua to pass by Shoto Park on her way to school. And in that park, about twice a week, she would spot a lonesome schoolboy eating bread. As Yua observed him in his time of solitude, she somehow grew fond of seeing him. Wow. On her way to school one day, Yua happened to run into a friend of hers at the station. Two of them decided to walk together, eventually coming across the boy on the bench. Upon seeing him, her classmate spoke up.
あいつ2年の西条っていう子らしいよ。弟が同じクラスでさ、引きこもりのキモオタなんだって。クスノキ、あんなやつに興味持つのやめときなよ。
Oh boy. Nishijou. The characters in this name would normally be read as Saijijo. For it to be read as Nishijou was an anomaly. There was no way it was a mere coincidence. As soon as she could, Yua got her hands on the list of second-year Samurai Academy students. And there it was, that name, Nishijou Takayumi. Still, the shared name would not stand on its own as decisive evidence. It too could be merely coincidental. So, Yua decided to put her theory to the test. Whose eyes are those eyes? She wrote those words on the blackboard and watched as he trembled in fear. Okay. So I was kind of right, but I was wrong. So it wasn't from the okay. Got you. Okay, so That's so fun. That's how my fucking brain works. Of like, oh, how the fuck does Yua know about this? Oh, of course, duh, Void, is because she had the chat logs. And because she saw that, she wrote it down on the blackboard because of the person next to her, which was Shogun. Dodoy. But no, she got that later. Gotcha. Yep. Okay. Okay. Now it makes sense. It makes sense now. She wrote these words on the blackboard and Watcher C trembled in fear. That was not the end of it either. Weak-eyed witness reports from the crucifixion incidents, which claimed a Samurai Academy student was spotted viewing the scene, exploded across the internet. Yua had all of the evidence she needed. Nishijou Takumi was a suspect, and he very well could have been the one who had murdered his sister. Wow. Fucking wow. Damn, all of that, and then we get to that point right there. Damn. Damn, 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 damn. Indeed. But I think this is a good stopping point right here, folks. As next episode we'll probably get to chapter 7. A lot of it's going to be cut out, obviously, but it seems like we're going to have these intermissions with you every now and then, which will actually help break up the pace really well. But goddamn, wow, I'm really curious as to see how this ends. Is it going to be like Nanami's ending, or is it going to be different? You know, like, are all these routes going to end with Takumi staying in delusion, or I should say these route endings with the girl, like with the main girl of the route, or is it going to be something different for each one of them? You know, I want Takumi find love, man. I want myself to find love. But fuck it. I hate projection. I hate relatable main characters. I hate them so goddamn much because I grow so attached and makes me think about my own life. You guys just watch this to see me suffer, don't you? But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this episode. If you did, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. When you tell me something, put it down in the comments below. Check out Discord server I hang out in, or my Twitter. Check out the description below. And yeah, this has been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!